Trevor Ferrell and his father Frank Ferrell are our guests this afternoon, and we are talking about how they, almost single-handedly, and now of course it has really expanded, are going out and helping street people in the city of brotherly love. That of course is Philadelphia. Trevor, we were looking at some of the people on the photos here and the videotape that you have. Can you tell us some of the stories of some of the people?
Well, Maggie, she was an old roller derby queen, and she hit her head so many times. She has seizures a lot, and she just falls wherever she is.
So how did she find herself on the street? Do you know?
No, we haven't been told.
We're trying to persuade her to come back to Trevor's place, and it takes a while. They don't immediately open up and come back to live there. There are 14 people that would be living on the streets otherwise that are living at what's been called Trevor's place, and the city has said there's room for 100. But that's really scratching the surface. There's thousands of people that are homeless.
How did the house come about, Frank?
We got a call from a local church group and said that we want to help you, and we have an old rooming house, 33 bedrooms, 19 bathrooms, and it's Trevor's to use. And so, same way with the van that we got. We haven't solicited for anything, and things have just fallen into place.
No, this is the van you use to stock, take food out and to take the clothing or the blankets and things like that.
Yeah, every night. Trevor does not go in every night. He did during the month of March last year, but since he failed school, and we were, not just because we were criticized for that, but
concern,
concern. Yeah, he must do his schoolwork, right, Trevor? And so he's allowed to go in on weekends, and we hold it up as a carrot that he may go in during the week if he does
His
well.
ex is accomplished.
Yeah, right.
What about some of the other people you've met, Trevor? Can you tell some of their stories?
Chico, he was in jail a couple of years back, and then he was on the street, and now, he used to be drinking a lot, so now we're trying to keep him from drinking, and he's at a house now.
Who's a favorite, or are they all favorites?
A lot of them are favorites. I really couldn't pick out one.
Who was the first one you met?
Well, we only saw him that night. It was on a grate, and on 15th and Raven, I said, and he had white socks and a beard.
And he was just there. He was there sleeping?
Yep, just sleeping on the grate.
And we haven't seen him since then. There are many, though, that we see at a regular time, at a same place every time. You can rely on them being there, and then all of a sudden, after several months of that, they're gone, and you don't know if they've died or what. It's really upsetting not to know.
Sure what has happened to them. You know, we also often wonder how street people end up living in the streets, and think about families they may have who may be unaware of their circumstance. Do you know, Trevor, of any of the people who are living on the streets who do have families somewhere in the world?
Maybe we know, like, a few that may know if they have an aunt or something like that, but we really don't know much about the...
How about Bill, for instance?
Oh, we know, like I said, just not a big family we might know of. Like, we might know if they have a sister or a brother, but nothing like a big
Bill
family.
has a daughter. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Trevor. I want you to tell about Bill.
Yeah, tell us about Bill.
Wild Bill.
You know more about him than me.
Yeah.
Because you wrote to his sister, but...
Yeah, well, your mother wrote to his sister. Okay.
Tell us about Bill.
Yeah.
Can you tell us? Frank?
All right. Bill, such a sweet man, and his daughter doesn't realize that he's on the streets, and he's never seen his granddaughter, who's now 17. And I'll tell you, it's just sad to think about, but the poor man lays there, and Janet, Trevor's mother, wrote to her.
To his sister, or his daughter?
His daughter, and she sent a photograph to Janet, but Janet did not say he's living on the streets. She just said that he's not able to think clearly, and she let it go at that. And it's really touching. You want to bring them together, but then if she saw him and saw the condition he's in, it would be heartbreaking for her.
For her,
And she
true.
has such a lovely family. And
You wonder, I mean, from Janet's perspective, and having not told his daughter that he was on the streets, there is a possibility that she may not have come, and then that would have been even worse.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
if he knew that she was then aware of his situation and didn't come to help, how heartbreaking that would be for him.
We have so many volunteers. One, she makes sandwiches, and she's been doing that for months and months. And Janet and I both asked her if she wanted to come in some night on the van, and she said no, and she was kind of cool about it. And another month went by, and I asked it one more time. I said, really, you're welcome to come in some night. I mean, gee, you're making all these sandwiches and preparing them. You should have the joy of seeing them distributed. And she just broke down and gushed. The tears came pouring out. She said, my father is a street person, and she hadn't seen him in years. And so there's something behind every story.
She may even run into him, you know. It is. You know, Trevor, you mentioned that I asked you about things you'd like to achieve, things you're looking to accomplish, and you mentioned you'd like to acquire some catering trucks. How do you expect this to come about?
Well, we would like to have a few of them so we can serve out of them and hand them to people to keep the food warm, because in the van it doesn't have any heat to keep the food anyway. So, and it only can hold so much food. And then, like coffee, we have a nice new coffee urn, but it can't hold as much as a catering truck, because catering trucks has 4 or 5 coffee urns, and it can hold more food.
So do you intend to grow up and continue running this kind of business or this kind of mission, actually?
Yeah, for as long as I can.
What this amounts to.
We've kept the door open, though, and given him the option of leaving this at any time. I don't want him to feel like he has to maintain an image of a super kid, and he's welcome to step aside and let somebody else do it. Some other people are doing an even better job, and no offense, Trevor, in some cases.
Yeah, that's on one night.
The Oklahoma City chapter, they call themselves chapters. The Oklahoma City chapter of Trevor's campaign served over 400 Indians breakfast a couple of weeks ago, and we've been doing this for a year, and the most we ever feed is 100 to 150 a night. So we learn as much from them over the phones. There are no financial connections with them. We just talk to them, and they talk to us, and we trade stories, and it's a nice feeling.
You know, one question about the house, about Trevor's place. Do the people live there now around the clock? I mean, are they there all the time?
Yeah, it's not an overnight shelter. It's a permanent residence for people.
A permanent residence for them, as long as they care to stay.
Yes, we encourage them to move on, to turn their lives around. We have 2 success stories, 1 failure. Two men have gotten jobs, and they're productive citizens now, and they're no longer relying on Trevor or on society. They're on their own, and that's great. The other person, we're praying for him, and he's going to make it too.
I hope things work out. We had, unfortunately, we are running out of time, but Trevor, we want to let people know that they can be in touch with Trevor's campaign, not only to support the campaign in Philadelphia, but also if they want to open a chapter in their own city. It is Trevor's campaign, 120 West Lancaster Avenue, Ardmore, Pennsylvania, 19003. And there is a phone number, area code 215-649-6400. We want to wish you and yours the happiest of holidays. And when we say yours, we mean all of yours. And want to thank you for taking time to join us here in Pittsburgh. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be back in a moment, folks. Thank you, Trevor.